Hello! So today I'm going to be reviewing Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. Apologies if I am absolutely butchering that name. First published in 2019, Before the Coffee Gets Cold is a gentle, small time travel novel with a lot of rules but a lot of heart. I'm going to try and be as spoiler free as possible, but the parameters of what people consider spoilers is pretty epic, but I will be mentioning things as this is a review, so you've been warned. Down the back streets of Tokyo, there is a small underground coffee shop, so small that 8 people would fill it. The owners and staff of this coffee shop are aware that if you sit in a certain seat and think about a certain point in the past, you can travel there. However, there are rules to time travel in this coffee shop. Number 1, you must sit in a certain seat. Number 2, you cannot leave that seat at any point. Number 3, you can only time travel inside the coffee shop. Number 4, anything you do in the past cannot change the present. Number 5, you must leave the past before your coffee gets cold. If you fail to do so, you will turn into a ghost and forever haunt the coffee shop. And number 6, the final rule, there is a ghost who sits on the time traveling seat. You can only time travel when she leaves the seat, and she only leaves the seat once a day to go to the toilet. But each day, the time she chooses to go to the toilet is completely different. So if you wish to travel back in time, you have to just sit inside the coffee shop and wait and wait and wait until she leaves. So the rules to time travel in this novel are quite limiting, but I think the novel does a really good job of creatively and narratively making it work. The time-travelling coffee shop is in fact open knowledge to the people of Tokyo. It was mentioned as a myth in a magazine, but because of all the really limiting, restricting rules to time travel, it kind of hasn't taken off as a sensation that's taken over the world. In essence, this book is 4 short stories. In the first story, The Lovers, we have a woman in her early 30s who's trying to reconcile a recent breakup that took place in the coffee shop. The second story, Husband and Wife, we have a wife who is trying to reconnect with her husband who visits the coffee shop every day. Her husband is suffering with Alzheimer's and is slowly starting to forget her. The third story, The Sisters, we have one of the staff of the coffee shop trying to reconnect with her estranged sister. And the final story I just can't mention at all, because to mention anything would be massive spoilers. But as much as it might feel at times like this is a book of short stories, and as I did just present it to you as 4 short stories, this is definitely one complete novel, as all of the characters in every story overlap into each story, kind of solidifying its overall narrative. So, what did I like? I liked how gentle and well paced it was. It does really well at giving you that kind of small, cosy coffee shop feeling. I liked how this was a novel about people and not time travel. The time travel is merely there for us to explore the depths of each character more and for us to just kind of understand their story arc a little bit better. All the characters are really well rounded and there is a lot of humour within this novel. I really liked how most of the staff were so nonchalant about the time travel. They'd be like, yeah, if you sit there, you can time travel, but have you tried our latest coffee blend? There's nothing flashy about this novel, and I really like that. Most time travel novels seem to go really big, but this kept things really small with the kind of restrictive rules, which really suited the writing style. I've said it 100 times already, but this is a small, simple novel that packs loads of heart. Now, it didn't make me cry at any point, but it definitely hit me in the feels. So what didn't I like? Well, once the characters and the rules of time travel had been established, it was very, very easy to predict the turns in the work. There's one big twist that happens sort of later on, and I feel like the author wanted that to have a big emotional impact to take us off guard. But for me, it was incredibly well signposted. And yeah, nothing really surprised me. Now, I know the author was going for something small and simple and wanted to explore characters first. However, this is still a time travel novel, and I do expect a time travel novel to catch me off guard, but it was just too easy for me to guess every story beat. And the second thing I didn't like was how we were given no information on how the owners of this coffee shop discovered the time-travelling chair. It was this kind of itch that I couldn't scratch all the way through. They never mention it, they never say, just the owners and the staff know of all these rules, but I was so intrigued about, well, how did you discover this? How did you learn the rules as you went along? And even though this novel isn't about that, and I have heard that there are 3 other novels, 2 released, 1 being released this year, and those novels might explore a bit more of the backstory of how the staff discovered the time travel, it was always there, this idea of, but how do you know this? But how do you know this? How did you discover this? And it wasn't even slightly hinted at in how they discovered the time travel at all. That second issue is just a small nitpicky one, and as said, I'm pretty sure they're going to explore that in the other novels, and I think I am going to pick up those other novels at some point. However, being able to predict the story beats and not really be surprised at any point definitely diminished my enjoyment with this one. Overall, this was a warm, cosy, gentle novel filled with loads of heart and played with the time travel aspect in an interesting way. If it wasn't for those story beats that were a little bit too predictable, this would have been a much better book, probably a 4.5 star book. However, for me, because of those things, it's sitting at around the 3.5 stars out of 5. So, nevertheless, a very good book and definitely worth your time, especially if you've got a day off coming up, you've got nothing to do. Pick up this book, sit down in a nice warm cozy coffee shop, maybe by a fireplace, and just enjoy this in one sitting. You would have a lovely time. So there you go, that was Before the Coffee Gets Cold. Have you read this novel? What did you think of it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Please let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye.